We're back. Maybe. Apparently logging into YouTube on Streamlabs just messed everything up. So I'm gonna check real quick if I am live. And if I'm going to continue. Yes, we are live. Okay. Let's pop out the chat. Go up here. Okay. Sorry about all that. Let's get into the programming. All right, so we're creating a class. Class for the player. We're gonna make the camera work in constructor, deconstructor, tilde. Got a constructor, we got a deconstructor. Variables, right. Camera for sure. Right, let's construct the play. Haha, what's up, Audio Tour? Not only did I find Joe, I found Joe probably like 10 times. And then the game got kind of boring. How are you doing today? Player cannot type. Okay. Player deconstructor. No. Well, I mean, the maze doesn't change, so he just changes his hiding spot. Good to hear you've been good. I am doing well. Camera. Let's convert the camera first. Do a play real quick and make sure everything still works. Oh, and I gotta fix. Yeah, we're working on the engine today. Um, No changes from last stream. I've been busy with school. Movement is bugging it up. I'm gonna remove what I did for the. Been busy with school. Also busy editing the most recent video that came out. But now that that is done, moving on, we're gonna do some more coding. Work more on the 3D engine, which honestly, not much of a 3D engine. However, getting there, making progress. As long as we're making progress consistently, it eventually will actually be something very, very impressive, and that's gonna be awesome when it gets. Still works. Don't have the glitch when we land. So one of the ideas that I have for this is to make for this project is I made a 2D bow shooting game. It just takes the physics of an actual bow, and it so it takes into account how tight the string is on the bow, how far you displace the string on the bow. It'll tell you how strong you need to be for that as well. And so it also takes in account the mass of the arrow. It takes into account gravity. Something else too, but it'll calculate the velocity of the arrow. It'll calculate how strong you need to be in newtons of force in order to shoot the arrow. And then it also takes angle into consideration as well. And then it'll show you a visual representation of the arrow's path. And so I was actually thinking about bringing that into I was actually thinking about bringing that into 3D space rather than just two-dimensional space. And then maybe we shoot Joe instead of finding Joe for this game. Alright, so why is camera not working here? No storage class or types. Why does it work here but it doesn't work here? They have to be in there. What if we just... Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we have that fixed. So I'll show you how. Let me show you real quick where it smoothly lands. One issue we do have though is that if you're moving and doing it, then it bugs under. I think that just has to do with fixing camera movement somewhere. But in order to fix that, we created array. Yeah. So you see that red line in the middle of the camera there? That is being drawn. We only see it when we move back, but it's being drawn to the floor, and it's telling the position of the floor. And using that ray, we are calculating distance to the ground. So since we have a way to calculate the distance to the ground before we land, we can use that distance to guess the future and land smoothly. And so I think one of the issues might be that when we move, it's messing up that variable. That's a problem for. I need to figure out why. Just create a function. Draw camera. Making it a variable of the class. Yeah, so that works. The original count. Those are transferred in. I need these. Whoops. These definitely can be variables. Those don't change ever. I'm making comp. Yaw and pitch might change. Let's see. Okay. They do change, so they cannot be constant. And they have to be a public for now. Ooh, okay. How's your day going so far, Audio Tour? Do anything fun today? Target. I don't think we need any of the physics variables in. We need a disable cursor in here. I mean, cleanliness of code would make sense that we do. Mouse delta. Get mouse. That we need that. Oh yeah? Remind me, what language you code in? I feel like it was Java. I'm gonna be in here. What the hell? Yeah. How's your engine looking so far? Are you doing it all from scratch, or are you using Raylib as well? Man, this is... I'm thinking maybe we don't. add the camera to the class. So I'm thinking we handle camera just in the main, but the player itself. Use an OpenGL. Pretty much from scratch. Hell yeah. You got the triangle and some basic architecture. Are you using the OpenGL website? That's okay, so I'm thinking camera be handled. Camera be handled in main. Because my idea for the game is that when you shoot the arrow, the camera's going to follow the arrow to the target. And it just wouldn't make sense to handle it in the player class. Well, this is to create a camera class, but that's technically what we're doing here. Adobe is distance time minus half gravity by define. The total distance, total returning root vertical square. Square root of horizontal squared and then a function of track 0. Oh, check. I need to clean that. So that website right there is what I use. But all as far as I got was creating the triangle. I'm not sure if you're using that as well. I don't know if that's official or not. But there's a C++ developer I like to follow, Tokyo Spliff. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. If not, definitely worth checking him out. That's what he suggests. This website to get started. He's been doing it for 7 years. He got some pretty impressive. Cool. All right. Stiffness. All right. Dude, I love Tokyo Spliff. He's really, really chill, his stream. He's one of the reasons why I thought about stream the coding that I do. Literally just I'm trying to transfer in code I made for the 2D weapon, the 2D bow physics into fuck it, let's do it. Horizontal distance, velocity, angle radian, time. Scale at vertical distance. vx vy. I'm interested to see how this works. If it's necessary to bring the z coordinate in to it would be, yeah. Depending on what direction we're looking, we're definitely going to need the z coordinate. We'll figure it out later. Trading times. That's where we're creating. We have got gravity, stiffness, displacement, mass, angle degrees, time step, velocity, size but don't change, potential, change value, fired. don't need to pass through difference into. Yeah, because it's a class. Variables of a class. Don't need it here either. There. Since these are references, I wonder how it's going to affect everything. Range time. I don't think we have to worry about that because it's changing the variables of the class, so it should be fine. Angles undefined. Angle needs to be updated. Let's just initialize it. Calculate range. And is velocity broken? Calculate range. That just returns. Doesn't use time step. Right? That should work. No. Be right back. All right, we're back. What's up, King of Gamer? How are you doing, brother? Okay, but that works. But the arrow travels. Arrow doesn't travel. So calculate range is not working. Okay, it's range. There's an issue with the calculation of range. Let's break range down. Velocity. Angle radians is good. Velocity. Velocity is not being correctly up. Shoot. Calculate velocity. O dot arrow. So it should calculate the velocity. Velocity is still 0. Just don't initialize it. Whoa. Velocity is now a memory value. Oh. All right. There we go. Velocity is now being correctly. So my issue is that I just wasn't assigning the value that I was calculating for any of these to what they're supposed to be. So yeah. Horizontal distance. We're good there. It is really hard for doing again and again. Really hard for doing again and again, doing it over again. Inventing the wheel of three dimensions. Or computational physics. I think I understand what you said there. um, I have like a very basic understanding of physics as well. So this whole project is to kind of understand better and like teach myself and become someone who can to become someone who can what am I trying to say? Someone who's a professional on the subject and be able to develop a lot easier in the 3D space. So my current project on this is to create a class for a bow and be able to shoot the bow. And so this is a project I have done in 2-dimension space before, but not 3-dimension. So I'm kind of implementing the same code, but I don't have the Z dimension, like the depth, added at all. So this is going to be a fun little project to try and figure out the Z dimension and bring it into this. References, 3D space. References, 3D space. Sorry, I'm not understanding. Do you have any references kinematics motion game as I'm very sorry, it's hard for me to understand. Velocity and gravity is correct. Gradients. Correct. Yeah, I don't even know if this could be considered a game engine at all. Because wouldn't a game engine be like you can actually develop into the game engine? I'm thinking like Unreal Engine, you know? It has different like you create objects through the engine. You don't create them through straight code. Yeah, I mean I don't use Unreal too much. But yeah, there is the ability to code in 3D or sorry, Unreal Engine. But I would not I don't know, I wouldn't consider it a game engine. I'll consider it just honestly at this stage like a script. You're only oh, not calculating total distance. I mean, if it's a framework to create a game, it's an engine. Yeah, because I feel like for it to be a game engine, you'd be able to create games from the engine. But this here is just literally just I can't create anything. I can just move around and jump. Um, Calculate total. What does calculate range do again? Like in the future, one of my goals would be to work on game engines. The Fox engine is one of my favorite video game engines. It's just even back to like the PlayStation 1 Metal Gear Solid game. I'm still playing it to this day. Like I played it maybe a month ago and beat it, and I'm still finding out new things about the game. And um like my knowledge into the game itself is allowing me to be much better at. I would definitely love to work on game engines like the engine though. Wouldn't even mind going to like Japan. It would be pretty cool to work at a game studio there. However, I hear they do not like hiring foreigners in Japan, specifically for video game development. But hearing that though, I'm like, all right, cool, bet I'll be the first one. Watch. The arrow still only traveling 0 meters. Has to be something in the code itself. I know there was. There was a failsafe when I made the 2D version of this. That whenever the arrow passed below a certain number, then it didn't it reset the arrow. One of my goals as well for the future, specifically while I'm in school, is to develop some sort of engine, some sort of game engine, whether it's 2D, 3D, or whatever, and to have that on a not a resume, but portfolio. Also, I think I found the issue. We're pulling arrow distance. However, I don't think we're really actually updating arrow distance. And I believe this is where we would calculate it. No. Hmm. Arrow distance equals we go. Fix it. Double check. Do the values match? 3.42, 63.58, 15.5, 412. Okay. Y'all can't see the debug, but I figured out the issue. So now, whenever we shoot the arrow, we're officially calculating these here. The elastic potential, how much force the string is throwing onto the arrow, the velocity of the arrow, the force required to pull the string, and how far the arrow travels. So using these values, I should be able to translate that into 3 dimensions, hopefully. Now I need to figure out angle. So angle needs to be changed to 3 dimensions. Angle radians can stay the same. So, here. Looks like we're changing horizontal, vertical. Or maybe we're adding, maybe we add horizon, vertical, depth. Make a value to calculate depth. Man. Angle just needs a new coordinate, z coordinate. Because we're using x and y. X being distance. The y being height. X and z would be our angle. Maybe ChatGPT can help me out. Help me visualize 3D space. Depth. So we need x, horizontal direction, vertical direction, and depth. Gravity only applies to y. So we need initial parameter of position. We have velocity, we have angle calculation. We're not going to add air resistance yet. (3D space as a dot). Okay. Draw the initial velocity vector in the direction the arrow is fired using angles and elevation. Elevation is not something we created in the 2D. Actually, there's one thing I do want to check before we do this, is that this track arrow by time step is track arrow. So track arrow is happening. Why is this not time step? Maybe just our time step might be broken. Time step. Time equals 0. Could be an issue with this code here, because I don't think we have bow destination really. This visualizes the arrow. This is not necessary. This is necessary. Time times time. Regulate horizontal. Oh, I think I know what's up. Alright, distance is broke, but height not broke. Vector itself is kind of broken. We don't need that for now. Distance in meters, aerodistance. Okay. So from here, angle needs to be calculated by one of these. Should be able to use the pitch to determine angle. Hold on. really even need to make that a function. Equals. Pitch. Cool, that was easy. Alright, so we now read the angle based off of the direction, the pitch, the mouse. So now we can pass pitch angle into our bow class. Will equal pitch angle. And it works. Sweet. It kind of works. Because the arrow's traveling negative. When we calculate the animation of the arrow, I think that's when we can fix. Now I don't think it's fixable. Okay. So we could visualize holding down left click, increasing the value of draw distance and draw strength. That'll displacement. Yes, displacement is what we want to change. We do that with rectangles that we're drawing from Raylib. I've done this before. Raylib on long This button is press. Button down. Go plus 0.1f times percentage. Okay. Hmm. I'm interested in why this isn't. Maybe the rectangle will work. Oh, because we're trying the grid. No, that didn't fix it. There we go. My idea for the game is just a bow shooting game. Um, are you asking for this, or are you asking for in general? This game is just going to be a target shooting game with a bow. And then we're going to move on to another random 3D project. In general, I have a bunch of video game ideas. I think I really enjoy creating the systems behind the games, like the physics, etc. But the game itself, I spend less time worrying about. However, everybody has a video game idea. I'm interested to know yours as well. One of my top favorite video game ideas is a idle clicking game. Idle/clicking game. And the idea behind it is that you control a team of 4, up to 4. You can lone person it if you want. And it's like all like the other idle games, but you micromanage your team. And each individual person in your team has different stat accumulation. So you could have one person that just focuses on cutting wood for a long time, and then you have your other teammates using things like fletching bows and arrows out of that wood, creating armor from the ore that one of your character mines, the other smiths it and creates armor. And then the third and fourth people are out using that armor to attack. Or we have a third person getting fish and cooking it to feed the fourth person who is out there fighting monsters and gaining gold from that. There will be like bossing elements as well. So you have incentive to train all 4 of your squad mates into effective fighters, so that then you can bring your team and attack different enemies. Different like big bosses will drop different armor pieces at a rare rate. So you would come back, a day later of fighting the boss, as long as you don't run out of supplies. And you say you've got one rare piece that drops from the boss. So you equip that to your main attacker, and then they have better strength, better damage, etc. So that's probably my most impressive video game idea that I have right now. I'm interested to see what yours is. I'm gonna go use the restroom real quick. Be right back. All right, we're back. I was thinking about writing an engine that comes with a Doom-style map editor with NPCs you can put in any map. Is that going to be... So the project that you're working on right now, is that the direction that project is going? Your OpenGL project? A Doom style map editor would be badass. I'm assuming you're talking about old school Doom, like the Doom, um, Wolfenstein 3D, that era. That would be fucking badass. Like Doom 1 and 2. Yeah, that's badass. I've always wanted to make like a level editor as well. Boom. Oh. Button down, if mouse button release. Why is this not working? If is mouse button released, left button, then we're firing, but it's not printing the firing. I actually recently beat Doom 2016 and picked up Doom Eternal, and tons and tons of fun. Also with this project, just like seeing the 3D space with the grid on the ground just gave me, or the maze game too that I made just gave me like Doom vibes. Where did it plan out, including how I want? Tell me how do you want the NPCs to work? Mouse button down. You have to do and. No, that does not make sense. Oh, you know. I understand what's cannot be a part. Didn't get Doom Eternal yet. Fun. Why is that broken? Oh. Okay. We need. Why are we calculating air velocity twice? We need air velocity, elastic potential. Pretty much everything but the print results need to be. And then print result after 5. Okay. Doom Eternal, tons and tons of fun. They really emphasize like platforming in it though. It kind of breaks up the action parts. But still tons of fun. Just moments where you're doing a lot of platforming, which is odd for a Doom game. It's not really that odd for a Doom game. Because if I'm remembering, there were some sections where in the original Doom where you had to like there was like that very thin wall that you had to walk across. ESP recursively divided to sectors. Same sectors the player uses its L to go to set. Okay. Find the difference between player getting the direction and heading straight to the player and kill it. Unless the player goes to a different sector. So its logic loop is that, oh, I'm not in the same place as the player. So first I'm going to go to a the sector that the player's in. And then when I'm in the sector, NPC position minus equals player position, depending on walls. And then kill player. And then so the way I understand that, that's kind of like Serious Sam kinda, where enemies spawn and chase the player. Like immediately after they spawn, head straight to the player. Okay. Okay. That's awesome. Serious Sam has some of the coolest enemies. Like fucking annoying enemies too. Okay. Back to what I was doing here. So have not played a Gmod next. That is fuck. Oh, wait. Maybe it's reading this as. No. Alright, this is confusing me. Oh. The order of my FL state. Yeah, there we go. Awesome. It's working. I'm not sure what BSP is. What is... I am purely self-taught. Luke, welcome to the stream, by the way. So I used things like Udemy, and I learned through that in order to build up skills. I started in Python, and then I moved into Godot, and then about 6 months ago I swapped over to C++, and since then I've just been creating projects. What's up, Ali? Is it hard to game program? Yeah, but it gets easier as long as you consistently work at improving your skill. So at first, if you have zero knowledge of programming in general, it's going to be very hard. But as long as you practice 5 days a week minimum, and as long as you put in the time and effort, you're going to learn. It's going to get easier as you go. I'm only a year in, and this stuff is still pretty hard. But I'm able to handle a lot compared to where I was 6 months ago. I would definitely recommend that you do. Give it a shot, at least. You never know. How are you doing today, Luke? Welcome to the stream. Ali, welcome as well. Okay, so update on what I just finished. You see in the top left, there's the angle. I capped it at 45 because it was getting to crazy, weird negative angles to where you'd be able to shoot behind you. And then it goes up to 180 degrees looking directly up. I think that should be 90. Should be 90. We'll fix that. I do not have a job in the field. So far, it's just a hobby. The goal is to eventually become professional, though. And now, whenever you hold the mouse button down, there's displacement value up to 100% displacement. And then when you release, you can't see it, but I can see it in the debug. It shows the elastic potential that updates based off of angle and displacement, the velocity of the arrow, the force required to pull the string, and the arrow travels the distance it travels. I'm gonna go ahead and fix that 90. How long have you been programming for, Luke? Okay, so I think from here on we need to update the track arrow function so that we can return the X and Y based off of the time step so that we can then use those values to track the arrow during its ascent and descent, and then using those variables we can detect collision for later. The best resource to start development, YouTube. I would recommend either decide if you seems like game development. So you have two routes. The first one is selecting an engine, a game engine. So that's going to be Godot. I'll go ahead and write these in chat real quick. Godot, Unreal Engine, or Unity. So you can pick between one of those three and then go to YouTube and look up tutorials. And that will dip your toes into game development. In order to continue from there, you need to understand how coding works. And you're not going to get that understanding through these engines. So you're going to choose a language that you want to learn. And if you want to learn Godot, then I recommend Python. If you want to learn Unreal Engine, I recommend C++. And if you want to learn Unity, I recommend C#. I'm going to write these in chat as well. Right? And so the reason why I recommend these languages, Godot uses a language called GDScript, which is very, very similar to Python. Now, this is going to be your easiest route. Python is the most simple language to understand right now. Python also has a bunch of different fields that you can go into learning Python. Unreal Engine is going to be your hardest option. C++. If you learn C++ as your first language, you're going to have trouble understanding the syntax. And so that's going to be a negative towards learning the structuring of how programming works. Now, C#, I have no understanding of at all. I understand that it is, it's a lot easier than C++. And Unity itself, I have no understanding of either. But I also understand that it's used in probably majority, I would imagine, majority of indie game development today. So my recommendation to you would to go the Godot route or the C# route or the Unity route. And so after you have taken that first little tutorial on how to use either of these programs, you're going to look for a tutorial that you can also find for free on YouTube for the language itself, Python or C#. And then you're going to spend a very, very long time, I'm talking 3 to 6 months, focusing only on that language, Python or C#. My recommendations. After you spent that 3 to 6 months of consistent learning and understanding of Python or C#, then you're going to return back into Godot, or you're going to return back into Unity, and you're going to start building video games. Hopefully that helps you get a very, very good introduction into how programming works and into actually making a couple videos. All right. If you have any more questions, I'm more than happy to answer. Luke says, I've been reading about programming for about 9 years, but I never fully dove in. I'm always starting and stopping learning about stuff, and I only made my mind about 1 year ago. I started from scratch. Currently, I'm tweaking a small project in Python and struggling with the Cartesian system thing. I still don't quite get it why 0, 0 starts on the top left corner and not in the middle. Yeah. So, it's odd. It is kind of odd that it works that way. How it's not in the middle. And something that really bothers me too is that, for example, if you're spawning in a texture on C++, the top left of that texture is the 0, 0 coordinate. So if you're ever working with collision detection, then you need to change the collision box to fit the whole rectangular texture. Otherwise, your collision only happens with the top left of the texture. But yeah, it is. Now, what screws me up is that from grade school, we were taught that 0, 0 starts in the bottom left, not the top left, and that the coordinate space increased as you went top right, rather than it increasing if you go bottom right. That got me. Maybe this will help. There's quadrants, right? There's the. It's been a while since I've looked at this. The quadrant system. So you have the 4 quadrants. The top right being the first quadrant, top left being the second quadrant, bottom left being the third quadrant, bottom right being the fourth quadrant. So you're working in the fourth quadrant space rather than the entirety of the quadrants. Okay, back to what I was doing. Okay, great horizontal distance. Velocity. I think I need to calculate time. But you did figure it out though, right, Luke? And since you figured it out now, it's going to be easier to figure out in the future. That's what's most important. The vertical's broken right now, but horizontal isn't. Is it broken though? Yeah. This thing is super broken. We're going to ChatGPT on this one. You managed, but you deleted the project 3 times and made everything from scratch just to make sure you get. That's smart. I respect the determination there. I think that's huge when you're trying to learn something. Reset. Putting gravity here. And calculate horizontal. Only used here. Fucking get rid of those. I think we're gonna need to. I did do something similar when I was learning OpenGL. You recreate same thing over and over to drill down the. Yeah, that's like that's the best way to learn, especially with programming. I'll use ChatGPT a lot, probably more than I should, but I'll do my best to not use ChatGPT. Some things I have to in order to just make it work, or some things I'll use it just to make sure I did something correct. But I remember there was times where I would I'd have trouble making an if-else statement or like a while loop. Tokyo Spliff remade the engine countless times too, as he said on GitHub. Like mine is project. Yeah, Tokyo Spliff is fucking awesome. Hasn't he been working on it for like 7 or 9 years? The same thing, and he's made awesome progress. The game he's making really reminds me of GoldenEye. Shit, back to this. All right, initial velocity. We're actually this isn't gonna work with the because it's technically 0 times cosine angle radian. To find velocity. Maybe if we... What advice would I have for someone who wants to learn C++ for game development? That depends on how much you know about programming in general. C++, the syntax is very tough to understand for beginners. I would recommend spending about 3 months into something simpler like Python in order to understand the structure of code, right? And 3 months is like the bare minimum. You need to learn if-else statements, while loops, for loops, match case, etc. You need to learn classes. It took me about 6 months to get to that level. I practice just about every day, an hour to like 3 hours a day. And then I moved into C++ after 6 months of that. So, to answer your question, I would recommend learning Python up until you learn what classes are. And then you can move into C++, start over not technically from scratch, because you understand what an if-else statement does and stuff like that. You're just relearning how to speak the language. This is if you're a bare beginner. And in order to do that, there's the website Udemy, where you can buy classes, but do not buy classes off of Udemy. What you're going to do is go to Udemy, type up either Python or C++, and then you're going to figure out a class that you like. The one I used was... So in order to learn Python, I used a class from a guy named Ardit, and I'll go ahead and link that. Give me 1 sec. Yeah. It's very important that you learn to program before you start game development, especially if you're moving into something like Unreal Engine. So the trick that I used was I went to Udemy and I bought classes, but if you buy them off of Udemy, they're full price. So if you find a class that you like, you go to the person's website and they offer their courses for like 90% off. All of their courses for like 90% off. Books are great as well. If you can sit down and you can look at a book and you can learn from a book, it's perfect. Okay, so that link I just posted there, that's going to take you to the Python course that I used to learn how to program from scratch, from nothing. And if you scroll down, you see it's 90% off. And this is a tip that I give for every single Udemy course, is to go to the course, go to the description of the course, look at who made that course, go to their website, they always offer their course 90% off on their website. Pretty much every single Udemy course I've ever wanted to buy, I was able to find it 90% off on their website. And this saves you hundreds of dollars. In order to learn to program, I think I spent about $100 total. And then I'm gonna go ahead and link the C++ course that I took to learn C++, in case you wanted to use that instead. On top of that, I also use books. That is the course that I used for C++. Total 18 plus 19, 37. Give or take $1 or $2. $37 to learn how to code. Don't spend any more. Maybe you want to buy some books. You can find them for free online. Especially if you're in school. If you're in school, you have a .edu email. You have access to pretty much every resource you need to learn anything. And then this is the book that I'm currently learning with. It's Game Physics Engine Development. How to build a robust commercial grade physics engines for your game. This is a book that I'm going to be reading for a long time. Tons of math, tons of stuff that I have to learn. If you want to learn how to program, one of those 2 links. I don't make anything off of it. So I think my initial velocity, I'm for these variables right here. The idea is that I'm calculating the velocity, applying gravity, specifically with the Vy. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at here. Math is really important for that kind of stuff. High school math is not enough. No, high school math is not enough for game development. You're typically, if you're going to go to a university to learn game development, they're going to teach you up to calculus and trigonometry. Physics is very important as well for game development. Very, very important for game development. And this book here covers, let's see if I can give you some examples. Laws of motion, particle physics, forces, springs, constraints, rotations, rigid bodies, collision detection, generating contacts, collision resolution, friction, contacting surfaces, stability, that's what this book covers that I showed, and this is an introductory book to game physics. Things get much more intense. I'll go ahead and give you an example. Say you have a table, and you want to place an object on that table in your video game. Well, you're applying gravity to the object. The object applies a force in return. Sorry, the table applies a. I'm going to restart this. You have a table. You have an object. The object is being dragged down by gravity, so it interacts with the table, and the table is pushing up on the object with a force to counteract that gravity. Well, if you're building a game engine, that object that you place on that table is going to be consistently calculating going into the table. And I don't know how long you've been gaming for, but if you were gaming back in Oblivion days, if you would ever set an object on top of a table in Oblivion, for example, the object would sometimes glitch through the table and then bounce up and down. So you need to use physics in order to prevent the bouncing of the object being rested on the table. That's one example that I have where math is very, very important. Someone might want to reverse engineer your game to try and hack it. Yeah, absolutely. Especially especially programming C++, because it's very, very open. And it's, there's millions of people in the world who are much better than I am at C++ that are going to be able to do that. At this point, though, it's not really important. If I was to ever release a game in the future, there's going to be a lot of fail safes to prevent like changing variables, which I don't think you can prevent that, honestly. One of the big programs right now is, or at least it has been for a while, it's called Cheat Engine, where you can apply it to a game, load the game up or whatever, and you can change variables. So like you can make your player move much faster or make your player hit a lot harder. And this has been a program forever that still works on a lot of games today. But also, honestly, thinking about it, like, kind of cool that people can do that. And they should be allowed to do that. And sometimes it actually makes the game better. Makes it more fun. Like using Game Sharks back in the day. Yeah. Honestly, I say more power to them. Go ahead, hack it. Reverse engineer my game, hack it, make it better. And then release it as a mod. Why not? Okay, sorry, back to programming. Okay, so our y coordinate is working now. Gravity is not being applied to... Doesn't matter about x. Distance is x. Yeah, y. Gravity is not being applied to y. And when it does get applied to y, then we're fixed. Gravity times time. Minus gravity times time. Need initial velocity. We need gravity. Okay. So yeah, technically working. You're playing. There we go. We're fixed. Bro. Okay, if it equals equal to 0. Later we're gonna add collision too. Then hit ground. Should do a oh, I know. We broke it again. Why is it doing that? And 0. And it equals 0, and time equals 0. Okay. You can see the order of the if statements there. That just broke everything. There we go. No, it's... You guys can't see, but in the debug, it's repeating this line of code when it shouldn't. If it's less than or equal to 0, then we're going to set it to 0. Time is 0. And dest.y greater than. Maybe we don't even need that. No, it's still looping. Might have to do with this. Nope. Center equal to 0. Put our error destination of less than 0. And then that should work. Yep, that worked. Sweet. The values 273.27. Slightly off. That's not good. But doesn't matter. $782. Alright, I'm gonna try to give you guys a visualization real quick. Draw text. Or correct? There we go. Here we go. Okay, so you guys have a visualization of what I see now. And maybe we should do this too, actually. Or hold on. Kind of cool. I'm just gonna have ChatGPT do it for me. $170. Kind of hard to see. It's very hard to see. Right back. All right, we're back. No. All right. Made a lot of progress today. Thinking this is the end of the day. Because I have, yeah. What I'm, what I want to do is figure out the z coordinate before stopping, so that, okay, so I have angle, I have top down angle being returned, but I do not have depth, which I assume I can calculate off of called yaw, Y-A-W, of the mouse. And then I could use that to calculate what direction the arrow will be shot. And the thing is that I think that's going to be a very, very simple thing to make. We're going to do it real quick. All I need to do is just figure out 360 degrees. Oh, not good. A continuous, okay. Maybe a little harder than I thought. Unless... yeah, so the more I look, the more spins that I do, the more the value of yaw goes up. But what I could do is figure out 360, what value that is, and then just reset. 6. It's got a decimal value. If yaw is greater than, sorry, less than 0.6, -6. Yaw equals 0, 0.f. Maybe. Yeah, so it's not 6.2. 6.23. There's a exact value to this. I think we found it. No, not yet. Hmm. 0.24. Do it like this. That's not gonna work. $6.285. There goes. Smooth. All right. And we greater than 6.25. Same thing. I'm assuming it's reset. Reversed. I'm kind of smooth. Yeah. Yeah, that's acceptable. Okay, so then we calculate angle based off of this using the same exact formula. Save. I'm assuming it's the same exact formula here. Sixty 360 degrees. And I think we just need to like I need to so when I look right, it's a negative degree. When I look left, positive. How would I personally do tooling for something like Mac creation? I cannot answer that question. I'm sorry. I'm not I'm not at that level. Are you, hold on, are you asking like what program I would use or how I would make it? Because if I was to create a 2D map, I would use Tiled. If I was to create 3D, I would use Blender. But if I was to make it myself, how would I make a tool? Gotcha. Yeah, sorry, I'm not able to answer that. It says, I look exactly like I expect my game devs to look, smart and tired. I appreciate you saying that. My my genetics give me dark eye circles, so I got kind of lucky there. I always look tired. All right. Yeah, jeans are OP. You know, you get what you get and you don't throw a fit. That's what I. Okay. Oh, direction, angle, and direction. This was yeah, my brain's starting to. My brain's starting to be toast. Okay, so we got angle. I think when we calculate, we can just calculate if it's negative, then reverse the negative before we calculate the rest. As far as like shooting the direction of the arrow, the direction the arrow will be shot. My brain's a little cooked, yeah. I've been doing this for like 4 hours. This has been going on, this stream today. I don't stream on YouTube very often. I'm not sure where to see. From zero knowledge to now, I have been coding for 1 year. Exactly 1 year. I'm gonna pull chat down. I'm done developing for the day, but I'm gonna pull chat down. If you guys have any questions, I'll answer them for like 5-10 minutes, and then after that, I'm cutting the stream. Made a shit ton of progress today. I am proud of the progress I've made. I need to, from here, I need to find a 3D. My brain is toast. Take care, Audio Tour. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. I'll see you again soon. I need to find a 3D asset for a bow. I need to figure out how to spawn that 3D asset into the world and make it follow the camera. Then I need to add animations to that bow. I need to add an arrow to the world. I need to apply that arrow's coordinate space based on the bow. Then I need to, based off of the work that I did today, returning values based off time step, I need to apply that to the bow's trajectory. And then I need to spawn in a target to shoot. I need to add a walking path on that object. I need to disappear that object, add score, add GUI. And then I think this project is to a point where I'm happy with after that. Write this down. To do 1, we need to find 3D asset for bow, find asset for arrow, apply assets to screen based on camera position. Apply back arrow values to shooting the arrow, and then apply animation to bow. Add a target, move target around. Score. Just say GUI. Yeah. All right, I appreciate y'all for watching. Hope y'all have a great day. Great few days. Take care.